What's the question,
Thank you
Louis?
for having me.
Yes.
First, first off,
Thank you for having me.
thank you for having me. Um, so you have quite a few titles in your name. I have you on LinkedIn actually as Willie Fong, CLUCHSC, CASL, RICP, and CLF. Do you mind just quickly telling me what all these titles designations are for?
Mainly is to understand and the financial complexity for financial advisors in financial services industry, also simply life insurance industry.
So you basically have 2 feet. I'm assuming 1 foot in life insurance and then one in finance.
It's the same.
It's all the same.
Yeah, it's all the same. The
Okay.
bottom line is the same, but because life insurance gave a bad reputation, so a lot of selling life insurance people they changed their name, the title as a financial advisors.
Ooh,
But don't get them fool you.
don't let them fool you. Thank you. That's a interesting, very weighted statement that you just made. So, you've been a leader for most of your professional life. Actually, you've had multiple appointments as a vice president for multiple companies, from Allianz to AIG to AAA to Transamerica, and even Emeritus most recently. Um, there was this paper I read by a woman named Linda Hill, and it's Where We Will Find Tomorrow's Leaders. And so the paper really focuses on cultivating learning and collaboration and adaptability for your direct reports. And so my first question is, in the financial sector where regulations and risk constraints are constant, how do you create an environment where your team feels empowered to challenge assumptions and propose new approaches to value creation or risk assessment, given the fact that there is so much regulation in the financial and life insurance industry?
I think the backdrop of this question for me to answer is regulatory is number one issue in financial sectors. No one should not pay attention to the latest and the greatest, all the new regulatory issues. We have the updates literally every month to understand the dynamics, what the industry wants, what the governments want, what the consumers want. So for that reason, I think the integrity, honesty, and open communication is very important. They are all important to build a team as a as the basic culture why we all can work together.
So, by fostering or making sure that all your direct reports are practicing this integrity and honesty and compliance, do you feel, or how do you allow them to have a creative spark?
You still can be your own develop your own creativity. That doesn't stop you. So we always have a lot of new marketing ideas, looking at the new trends of the new studies, the research of what the markets needs, and then we build the product to surround it, to
Mm.
offer that special needs, such as in the past, life insurance is for dead people, for beneficiary to get the death benefits. Now the new product is you don't have to die to use your life insurance. So that means the owner of the life insurance, the holder, can redeem the policy for the benefit in case they have any critical illness. They need the money for their long term care.
Who was the first company that coined that idea?
It's the National Life of Vermont. And so happen the creator of this concept became my AIG CEO.
So was he under you or was he above
No,
you?
he was above me. He was the CEO of the company. He was recruited by Greenberg, the godfather of the life insurance, from National Life to AIG at the Nashville division.
So how do you balance this need for compliance with the autonomy of employees? So you initially were talking about you let them think of their own marketing strategy, they do their own marketing research. Um, how do you make sure that they have that freedom but they're also compliant?
Oh, the compliance, we know what do's and don'ts. We just don't go beyond the boundary. It doesn't mean you cannot do your own marketing research, you cannot come up your own ideas
Okay.
and still can work. It's like still a lot of ideas come out every day from different carriers, from your competitors.
So there's another paper by a man called Chris Argus, and the title is actually a very good summary of the piece. It's called "Teaching Smart People How to Learn," and he explains that highly educated professionals like yourself and also all the MBAs that you have as your direct reports, they often resist learning from failure because it threatens their self-perception of competence. So, how do you encourage your team, all your salesmen, your actuaries, your analysts, your other financial professionals, to openly discuss their mistakes or their flawed models without triggering a defensive response?
I, I think the team leader has to be a very open minded first, have to set by example first, and make it very light when they talk about someone's failure, the mistakes. A lot of our peer companies, you will see it from our industry newspaper, it's like the lawsuit, behind the lawsuit, what happened and how did that happen. That is our learning curve. That is what we need to learn so that we don't follow the same problem.
So, are you saying these large internal corporations like AIG, Allianz, they have their own internal newspaper or their
No,
own
it's the industry. It helps.
industry
Yeah,
and
yeah.
industry? Okay.
It's kind of the daily news. We will pick that up right away.
So, how do you? Obviously, you're not in school anymore, so you're not doing case studies on these things. But so, how are you actually discussing these errors and pointing out that other people make mistakes?
Oh, we talk about it during the team meeting.
Oh,
It's just
team meetings?
yeah. This is
Are
a
they like
what
weekly, monthly, annual?
yeah weekly team meeting and say, hey, what's happening? Any intels from which company, from which carriers? We'll say, oh, another lawsuit's coming up, and then what happened? Or
So
what did they do wrong?
That's looking outward, but how do you look inward to your own team and flush out your own mistakes?
So we just don't do the same. We just don't copy people's mistakes.
But of course, they make mistakes still. So how do
As
you?
long as you follow the compliance, it says okay. How you set your assumptions is one of your questions.
Well,
like
it's
The
how
calculation
how do you,
for the assumptions, right?
so in these weekly meetings, you talk about these other companies through these newsletters and magazines and reports, but how do you flush out your own mistakes, your own team's mistakes?
Oh, then you have to do a self-report. We just cannot be that deep level.
Like a written self-report?
Well, if the actuary, the product designer, they knew they set the matrix wrong, then they have to come clean and say whoopsie, because eventually the auditor will comes in to look at it. So just don't follow the mistake, don't copy the mistake.
have these actuaries and these poorly drawn matrices, have they been how do you make sure that they come to you and tell you about this mistake before the auditor, uh, before you get to that point where you need an auditor?
I think from my experience, we don't have that problem. We will kind of openly say, oh, that is the old product. Like we always have a different product names when we did the evolution for each one. So we will say, and then we just shut down that product to close it.
Do you treat it as like it's not a big deal? Is that how they
No,
can be so open about it?
no. It's a big deal, but we will fix it right away,
But how
because
do you stimulate that? How do you, as a leader,
I think that's
make sure it gets to that? Like,
I think that that's the culture of AIG.
how do you foster that?
I think everybody is openly will do it.
And
Yeah,
you just maintain that
yeah.
openness?
Oh, yeah. AIG has a very strong culture. We don't want to be sued. We don't want to be on the newspaper.
And that's not true. So, when reflecting on your own leadership missteps or strategic errors, what processes help you convert those reflections into organizational learning rather than just personal blame?
Well, I hate to play a race card as an Asian, especially as a woman. Just cannot to openly say you made a mistake.
It's hard to admit.
Yeah, because once you say that, then no one will be
No one will trust you.
listen to you or respect you from that point on.
But you're not, obviously, I know you're not bearing it under the rug, so to speak. You know, so.
So far, I have not had such a horrible mistakes.
Okay.
So here and there make a little sting, so it's no, well, you just move on.
You just move on.
Yeah,
You just keep going.
just keep going.
Mm.
You cannot just keep saying. Sorry. Sometimes it's easier to move on than you go back and you think you do the right thing and fix it.
Okay. So in my textbook, there is one part of the reading that really describes how biases such as overconfidence, anchoring, and confirmation bias shape complex decisions. So what confirmation bias generally refers to a cognitive tendency to search for, interpret, favor, and recall information in the way that confirms your pre-existing beliefs. Right? That's what confirmation bias is. So, final decisions often involve ambiguous or incomplete data. How do you guard against biases like overconfidence or this confirmation bias when evaluating the market forecasts or the risk models when talking about life insurance?
Well, that's a one good example that I can think of. General Electric, they have I forgot the name of their life divisions. They create the best life long-term care product. Okay, everybody think that was the greatest product in that time frame. And then 20 years down the road, they went bankrupt.
GE?
Yeah. The reasons why the name of the company called Genworth.
Oh, not General Electric.
No, it was funded by GE.
Oh, I see.
And it's a Genworth. It's a one of the division.
Mm-hmm.
And they hire tons of PhDs, genius actuaries, thinking they are doing the right formula, everything, the assumptions and all that. Who will ever thought of it? The payout, the claim is far more exceeds their assumptions to the point they cannot take it anymore.
Was that due to like early deaths, bad economy?
No, due to the wrong assumption. They would not believe people will ever last that long when they are in a long-term care setting, and the people don't die fast enough. That means you keep paying out, and you keep losing the profit. And that is you can Google it, Genworth. It's just pretty bad.
How do you personally, how do you personally make sure that you're not being overconfident or you're not practicing this confirmation bias?
For me myself, then I don't know. That I never thought of that part of a question.
boy.
But I think the company itself, like Genworth, GE, there's a multi-billion company behind. And I think they overconfident to set this, to launch this product without really doing a lot of a focus group and research.
So, do you find yourself wanting to do more focus groups and more research before you allow for these decisions?
No, I don't think you will have that kind of a luxury. The company is once the company gives you a deadline, you have to launch the product. You cannot say, I want to wait for another 2 months, 3 months.
That's true.
It's just impossible.
Okay. There's another paper called How to Make Values Count in Everyday Decisions. And the authors, there's multiple authors of them, show how surfacing organizational values explicitly leads to better, more grounded decision making. So when strategic or ethical dilemmas arise, and you must have come across some ethical and strategic dilemmas doing life insurance, such as balancing profitability with customer fairness. How do you ensure your decisions reflect the company's stated values rather than only financial pressures? How do you stay true to the customer?
Yeah. Say, for example, that's a true story. One customer called saying they lapsed the policy. It's a term policy. They lapsed. The reason why they lapsed because they did not know the brother owned a policy with us, and the brother was in hospice, and no one, like the family is focused on his health and all that. No one pay attention to the mail, to the homes, and then the person passed away, and then they found that out. They missed a 2 payment, and then the people call me, say, we really need this. It's a small amount. It's a $250,000 policy. It's not like 10, 20 millions. And they say they need the money to pay off the debt and to clean the house and all that. And I asked them, can you really prove the person was really in the hospice during that time? And they did show me the invoice and the receipts. So I request the company, even it lapsed at that moment, we should consider that it is a eligible claim, and the company did.
What company is this?
That was a AIG.
Well, do you know around what time that was?
That was a few years ago. Yeah.
So
So that shows our leadership, the company leadership, go all the way to the CEO because he has to sign off. So you can feel the
pressure.
No, you can feel we want to do the right thing for the customer.
That's good. Thank you. So how do you integrate values into decision-making conversations across teams, especially when business cycles, shareholder demands, or market volatility might tempt short-term thinking?
You always have that problem. It doesn't matter the market go up or down because life insurance is the most precious product result driven company.
Can you repeat that?
Life insurance company is the most sales driven company because from the seller, the life insurance, that's the commission. They need to earn the commission to feed the family. The company needs the sales, need the cash comes in to continue to pay the claims and all that, kind of recycle the whole thing. So the money coming in is definitely is under a lot of stress. Without sales, no one can survive.
how do you keep your guys honest then? If there's this much pressure, because you said like your sales guys are all on commissions, everything
So
is sales, sales, sales. How do you stick true to your core beliefs? How do you
what
stick?
are my core beliefs?
Well, like
It's not
let's
as
go back
long
to
as
the AIG story,
yeah,
right? Of just honesty, like doing the right thing.
yeah.
You know, I could easily see a slippery, no offense, I can see a slippery slope where in the life insurance agency, you can easily fall into wanting to be almost like a used car salesman, where that stereotype of a, again, no offense,
Yes,
of like a
yes, yes,
sleazy,
yes,
dishonest,
yes, yes.
just get the product sold to whoever. So how do you keep your troops honest?
Well, that will be the compliance comes in. If the policy got audited and we find the agent have the repetitive selling pattern, especially to the elderly people, that's number one. Or you can feel the agent is not doing the things in a proper way, such as the wire the money or the address of the insurance and all that. We will pick that up from the compliance audit.
So that's
So
through.
they will be penalized.
So that's basically the auditing and the oversight of the one of the
Compliance, yeah.
government and then also the compliance
The company
department,
internal,
the
yeah.
internal compliance. So do you actively remind them? Do you teach them? Do you host like weekly like educational workshops?
I think you are wasting time to do that.
Then do you just find honest people to begin with, or do
You
you
just
teach honesty?
you just when you do your training, you just do it in a proper
You
way.
do it well.
Other than that is you cannot police people's behavior.
That's
If
a
you
good one.
cannot control, you cannot police.
Okay. There's this female writer, Teresa Annabelle. The motivation for creativity in organizations. Annabelle emphasizes that intrinsic motivation, rooted in autonomy, challenge, and meaningful work, drives creativity. How do you structure roles in your division to promote autonomy and intrinsic motivation while still meeting regulatory standards and bottom line expectations? So, again, how do you structure the people that work under you uh, to have this autonomous thinking, to think independently, and to be internally motivated? How do you keep that motivation going?
We always use the life story as the value of the product you are selling, the purpose of you are doing this. You are advocate for someone else. They could not advocate for themselves. We use so many different methodology or different ways to motivate, to train our sales force, to make them feel what they are doing is a godsend business. That's all we can do.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
So it's more than just a commission. You're actually helping people. You're helping
Right, right. Well, we always make people to feel we are doing the great thing for the family. We are helping people. The second benefit is your lifestyle, your living.
So I'm not saying this is preaching, but how often do you remind your agents that you're doing that?
Oh, this is constant.
Just daily,
yeah,
like
this is
nonstop?
a constant kind of singing your song.
So this might be a little bit redundant, but the next question is, so your industry, personally, I view it as risk adverse, but how do you help employees find meaning in their work, particularly in their sales, in doing the actuarial work, in actually selling these policies? So again, how do you help them find meaning? So let's go more about like the fact that you were saying that you're improving the quality of life, the QOL of all of your customers by selling these policies. What have you done personally to remind them or to tell them that? Do you find like personal, like individual customer stories? Do you just tell them like the overall message?
We do build a series of customer stories.
Oh,
Yeah, we
like
do.
videos?
Yeah, on the YouTube and all that, how they found the value from buying our products.
And how were you involved in
And
those projects?
because I have to pick out the customer,
Oh, really?
I have to work with the customer story, and then I have to invite our company communications person, and then we have to go to be on site and do the filming.
So let's talk some rough numbers about your direct reports. Can you go a little bit more into the structure of how this works, say like at AIG or NEF or Allianz? How does that work? Because you're the VP, you're obviously
Yeah.
not the boots on the ground. You're not the one actually selling the policies.
Yeah,
So
we
can you
have
go through the numbers
yeah
here?
we have like the wholesalers.
How many?
We have a team of a wholesaler, 10 or 8 wholesalers.
Under you.
Yeah, and then we have the internal wholesalers sitting at the desk, pick up the phone call, answer the producers' questions, doing the illustration for the
And so your
producers.
producers, those aren't MGAs, are
The producers are the agents.
they? The agents.
The
Okay.
one really the boots on the ground, as you say.
So how many do you think there are?
Oh, there are thousands. It's
Thousands,
like
really,
there
thousands.
are thousands of
So you have
agents.
these thousands of producers
A-
or agents,
agents
independent or dedicated to the
We
company,
have both,
You have
and
both.
then they will call in
to these
to the
wholesalers.
internal wholesaler sales desk to
Uh-huh.
answer all the questions. That's for training is constant.
And then
And then we also have an external wholesaler. They go out to do face-to-face training.
and they're part of the company or they're independent.
They're all part of the company. They are
And then they report to you.
yeah, they work with me, they report to me, and then they just knowing the kind of telling during the meeting, we'll say, watch out this so and so's behavior. That's a kind of a share.
So with
the
these
experience.
wholesalers, roughly, what was the largest amount of wholesalers? Internal, give me the internal number and then the external number.
The sales volume.
No, how many people? How many direct reports?
And then the wholesaler, they also have their assistant, the left hands and the right hands. But we try to pair them up with the wholesaler and the internal, building the team based on geographical location or East Coast and the Central and the West. Most likely they divvy up that way because of the time zone. So the East Coast can get off at 5, then the West Coast they start the day
So you
later,
had
and then they
West
end.
Coast people, you
I
had
have
the
the West
Midwest,
Coast,
you
yeah.
had the
I
East
have the
Coast
entire
people.
country. I don't have any regions.
So roughly how many people total?
It's like 20.
20 or only
Yeah.
for the whole United States?
Yeah,
Wow. And then they all have thousands of.
they have the
Producers
agents.
coming
Yeah, but
into
that is a secret rule. It's called the 20-80.
What's that?
20% of the producer will produce. 80% of the producer they are sitting there.
What do you mean?
So if you have 100 agents,
Mhm.
most likely you only have 20 agents and keep on working and producing. And the 80% of the agents, they are pretty not doing anything.
Forever, or this just this
No, they
alternating?
just slowly and just selling this and selling that.
Just like due to age or poor performance.
They always like that. That's why we have the 20-80 rule.
So those 20%, those are your biggest. Those are your
My top
whales, your top producers.
Yeah, the 80% they may be not really favor our product. They may be our competitors, carriers, a producer more so, or certain cases they cannot get approved by other carriers, then they will come to us. So it's kind of a mixed bag.
How do you have your so you were saying that you have these wholesalers. How do you direct your wholesalers to make sure that 20% is doing well? Do you
Oh, we will, because that is
how do you motivate that? How do you personally?
because of that ties to the paycheck. the production ties to the paycheck. So
Well, it's more than just money talks. Like
it is more the money talks.
Well, it's more than that. Like, do you give special instructions on to take care, like better care of them?
We
Shepherd
always
them
are
more?
very customer care focus, meaning agent focus. We will do whatever the agent need to close a case
Okay.
and to help the agent grow, help the wholesaler grow, help the internal wholesaler grow, helps me to grow.
So I notice when you invite me to your house, I notice that there's a lot of merchandise of a lot of different company names. Do you give out those like jackets, those? Like, do you like? Well,
Yes, yes,
In my turn, in my field in science, you know, you go to a convention and like
Yes.
you get something called swag, corporate
Yeah,
swag.
yeah,
So
yeah.
do you
We have that.
do you make
a
sure
lot.
that 20% gets corporate swag?
Yes, we will. Sometimes I will also do a special package for the top producers.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. Like, what do you mean? What's a special
Yeah,
package?
if they close a big case, it's like I will buy something special from company store and
Like
send it to their
like
home,
what?
like a jacket or like a backpack, stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. Like
Just
this.
to show appreciation and
That's nice.
recognition. Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice. How much money do you think you spent on that corporate swag to these this 20%?
Yeah, we have
Thousands, hundreds.
we
Annually?
we have a lot of money to waste. Sorry.
Okay. I'll make sure not to bleep that one out. Okay. So there's this man Stephen Kerr, and he had this theory on the folly of rewarding A while hoping for B. So what this means is Kerr warns that organizations often unintentionally reward behaviors that contradict the actual goal. Right, so that's what they mean when they reward A, but really they wanted B behavior to actually come out. So how do you ensure that compensation and promotion systems don't reward the short-term sales, the cost-cutting or policy volume at the expense of the long-term customer trust and enterprise risk?
This is very difficult
Sorry.
question.
So let's go back to this like corporate swag idea, right?
Yeah,
And these 20%, this top 20%.
top producers. Yeah.
So how do you make sure that they're staying honest, that you are through their commissions and through the corporate swag, you're actually rewarding or you're making sure that they're sticking to proper ethics rather than trying to always be the top producer no matter what. And that no matter what I'm saying is with bad business practices.
Well, the compliance will pops up if the business coming in is bad business.
Okay. So do you keep an eye out for this trend of
Oh,
like
we
this
know,
guy?
yeah, we know. It's like we will fret the agents right away. It's like,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And we may even terminate the agent so the agent cannot submit cases to the company.
So now, is this like a federal state law issue, or
No,
is this
there's
your
a company internal.
So it's an internal policies
Yeah.
that you're just constantly monitoring.
Yes, our compliance people will
So are you,
also to run through the policies.
do you feel that your compliance people are more critical for these top 20% guys versus the 80%, or do you think
it's a
just
case by
equally
case.
case by case?
Yeah, equally. It's a very fair.
So every case gets compliance.
No, it's a when something your case is too big, or the claims ratio is getting a little bit too high.
What's the
Then
claim
w-
ratio?
Like
How many claims you
yeah,
sell versus how many pay out?
the
Okay.
agents like it's quite often see the agent's name on the claims. So
So, well, I think you answered this question just through the compliance, but have you personally encountered incentive structures, so this is the commissions that these your agents are getting, in your organization that push teams or either the MGAs, the producers, teams towards measurable but ultimately undesirable behaviors, and how did you address that misalignment?
this always happen at the year end when when the when you have to hit the goal.
Mm-hmm.
So the year end, you will see a lot of craziness.
Well, you mean this craziness picks up at the end of the year?
Picks up at the year end
Why, they just
because
want to hit those
those
numbers?
limits, and then they can get on the conference, the annual conference,
Like the
the annual
NDRT?
vacations
Okay.
with their families and the kids and all that. So you will suddenly see some big cases coming in at the end,
At the
Yeah.
end of the fiscal year.
at the end of the year.
So then, how did you fix that? How did you steer the person back to the light rather than the dark side here?
There's no stealing necessary because everybody wants to have a good ending, good year end. So when it hits the next year, when the compliance, because it takes 3 to 6 months, the compliance kicks in,
Yeah.
and then whoopsie. That's it. That's it. It's like
it?
yeah, you cannot say sorry, take the commission back. Maybe
So you're
yeah.
very tough love, huh?
No, because that's how to run the business. We cannot keep
Okay.
chasing people away.
You lead with the stick and both the carrot at the same time. Okay. Employees more likely to cheat. Sorry for being funny on this one. Employees more likely to cheat with bonus incentive programs. So I think this is
This is continuing.
this is right up your alley. Okay. It was an article that I had to read for kids, for class. I'm sorry, and it highlighted the fact that these commissions, these bonus incentive programs, as just like you said, they're more likely to cheat, which is
Yeah.
right. So
We are human. Don't
yeah,
forget.
this paper studies on the high pressure bonus structures,
Yeah.
like life insurance, can unintentionally increase unethical behavior.
Yes.
Right, like
Yes.
at the end of
Yes.
the year, they want to go to these conventions,
Yes.
things like that.
Yeah.
So, how do you design performance incentives that promote strong business performance without pressuring employees into cutting corners on compliance reporting or customer transparency? Does this go back down to the compliance, and
There's
if you do,
no cutting corners.
well, as you said, the ratios start to become off, things like that. How do you how do you promote this strong performance, and how do you prevent them from getting these compliance issues? Do you show the other agents? Do you
No,
that
we
something
cannot.
bad
We
happens, or-
cannot. We cannot.
You can't crucify someone publicly, obviously.
We cannot do that. Yeah. So when we terminate our agent, it has to be very quietly.
It's quiet.
Yeah.
So the other agents not find out?
No one finds out until you go to the insurance department to find out. Then
find out.
yeah, that your name's is not there anymore. You're not licensed in certain state. It's a dirty industry, Louis. Yeah, it is. No one wants to say, I don't want the money. Sorry. So
You're making my paper a very difficult paper to
very
write.
difficult to
I'm
analyze.
hoping for some some soft love here, like a soft hand saying, you don't get into these situations. So obviously.
One sign you want your bonus too, because the bonus always trickle up and trickle down.
Oh gosh.
So there's always a money there. When the money get involved, even your boss would not like you to stir the pot at the end of the years. So what do you do?
Yeah, that's true.
So the CEO also have to deliver the numbers. So you have to understand that.
Yeah.
The division VP has to deliver the numbers as well. So you cannot rock the boat too much. And by selling it, it's like there's nothing wrong to sell the big policy as long as you follow the underwriting guideline. and do the financial background check. There's nothing wrong.
So there's this so the safeguards here is the compliance,
Yeah, the compliance is the one doing the policing.
the compliance department. Okay, and they make sure that all the producers are selling the products with integrity,
Doing
and,
it
and,
in
and they're
a,
being ethical.
yeah, meeting all the so-called, you check the box.
Um, do you work with compliance, or do they understand that this year-end rush where things might start to not become ethical? Are they aware of this trend?
Oh, they are aware that this is a constant conversation. Yeah.
And how would that conversation with the compliance?
The compliance have to do their
Well,
job.
do they come to you? Do they talk to you about
Yeah,
this?
we talk about it. So
Do you warn them about certain MGA, certain producers?
they will give me the list of people I have to pay attention to.
Then what do you do after that?
So normally, if I see the list, I say, well, it's obviously it's too bad. Then we have to terminate the producer.
You don't talk to the producers, or just you let it?
We just terminate. We
You
don't
just
need
go
to
straight
talk.
to
Yeah.
termination.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the rule or the practice of in this industry.
Tough. Herzberg, he's an author. I think he has a PhD. He has this two-factor theory, motivation and hygiene. So Herzberg distinguishes between hygiene factors, preventing dissatisfaction, and motivators, the drive engagement. So what hygiene factors, such as workload stability, clarity around the roles, workplace policies, do you prioritize to prevent employee dissatisfaction in your division?
I think play politics or play favoritisms are the worst two items.
Favoritism in politics?
Internal,
politics?
yeah.
So how do you get
Not
rid
to
of that?
do it, yeah,
Yes.
not to do it. It's you have to play fair.
You have to play. You personally play
Play
fair
very
with
fair
people within
to,
your department,
yeah, to the people,
and so
and very honest to the people.
so honesty, fairness, transparency.
Fairness, yeah. Favoritism and politics are two should not be on the list.
Okay. Which motivators do you find the most meaningful for engaging professionals in finance and selling your products? How do you build those motivators into your leadership approach?
I think it's the professional advancement.
Oh,
Take it as a professional. You are not a used car salesman. I always encourage my producers to continuing their education through American College of Financial Services School.
does your company pay for that? Do you reimburse them?
The company does not pay for the reimburse to the producer. However, I work with American College and ask them to give them a discount.
Oh, you personally request that?
Yeah, and they have a discount code, and they are willing to work with a big company like AIG.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. Okay. So how many licenses or what are these called? Through
Designations.
designations. So
Yeah.
how many? What's like the rate of a designation for every producer? Like how long does it take? How often do you do it?
Well,
Do you only
like
do this for your top 20%? Going back to that 80-20?
no, those are big producers. They don't have time to sit down and study.
Oh. So who gets it?
Who gets it will be the newer.
So the 80%.
No, the newer doesn't equivalent to the 80%. 80% they just don't do business with you. They're doing business with someone else.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's for the newer, not that heavy with experience, sales experience,
Interesting.
and those people need to be taught, need to continue to learn.
I like that. Continuing education. I wasn't expecting that in
Yeah,
your
it's a
industry.
very important. As I think all the people in the home office should have at least one destination.
Everyone in the home office should have
Should
one.
have at least one.
Is that your own personal?
That's
Thing?
my
Is it-
personal belief. I think once you have one destination, you understand A to C, the dynamics from
Interesting.
building the product, selling, marketing, and working with people.
Going to the paper by Rock and Grant, why diverse teams are smarter. So I think you have a lot of insight in this, given your diversity, given the fact that you're Hong Kongese and a woman as well, in what is pretty much a white male dominated industry.
Correct.
So, anyways, this article, Why Diverse Teams Are Smarter, is an article and it shows diverse teams outperform homogenous, like a white all male teams,
Yes.
by reducing bias and increasing analytical rigor. So, how do you leverage cognitive, cultural, professional diversity across your teams to enhance decision quality and innovation in a financial products or risk strategy?
Yes, it's very important to have a diverse team and have a diverse voice.
Explain what is diversity in your mind.
My diversity in my mind is different race group, gender, or even with LGBT.
Mhm.
I think they are all have a different perspective.
What about age?
The age is not that important to me. I think
Interesting.
it's only the sales experience difference.
Okay.
I think the cultural background, your gender, your economic societal economic spectrums are very important, because if you have a women on the team, whenever we talk about the marketing, the training, the women can voice out, hey, that may not be really fit the women's thinking here.
So, do you suggest when these producers, when they have their own home office, do you personally tell them that you need to increase your diversity?
Yes, definitely, because that is to reflect what community you are serving. If a customer walks in to see all the white guy and the customer so happen is a Chinese woman, what makes you think how she feel? This is all the white male office here. But if she sees they have Asian, they have a Filipino women there, they have Indians, so they feel more comfortable. Oh, this is how exactly the Philadelphia people looks like.
So we're both Philadelphia people, actually. I think you've been in the Philly area longer than I have, but I have seen in, say, areas around Chinatown where they have all Chinese life insurance or insurance agencies. Do you think that they don't perform as well as these diverse?
That is a
ones?
different, because they are the specific group to serve a specific segment, because of the language barrier that they can serve them to solve that
So
problem.
where would these diverse offices exist?
Such as Chinatown, or the Indian town, or the Russian area in Brooklyn. So that would be more specific. But in a home office setting, it should be a very diverse, make people feel welcome.
Where are these home offices that you're speaking of?
New York, Nashville.
Okay, like in downtown Manhattan or something,
Yeah,
downtown Nashville. So you're saying that you actually promote diversity in those home offices?
Yes.
Interesting.
And we also do a diversity event, like the Chinese New Year we celebrate.
So when diversity leads to conflicting viewpoints, how do you maintain psychological safety so those differences remain productive rather than divisive?
Instead of divisive?
Yes. So how do you keep, or how do you maintain a safe workplace even though you're promoting this diversity?
And come into some problems, right?
Right.
Yeah, that is quite often. especially
quite often.
have the conflicts and the problem. Some men just don't care for the women's training hours versus they want to have early to come in. Women wants to be later because they want to take the kids to school, and the men always want to go to the golf clubs for lunch, and the women they don't like golfing. So you have to balance a little bit. Not many Asian women, female agents, wants to play golf with the men.
So how do you?
So we have to create some other events to really make sure everybody have a share, have a voice.
Interesting.
When you do the team building.
So these team building exercises, sometimes there's a little bit of golf, sometimes there's what? Like
a little bit eating in the office, or a little bit drinking. Yeah.
Okay, and there's a budget for that, I'm assuming?
Yes, yeah.
What other activities do you think is good for a diverse group of people, rather than say like golfing or bowling?
Or
like
team
that?
building, we can hire some speakers to come in
Oh.
to do a team building with us as some coach,
Are they
executive.
from like an ethnic minority group? Are they from the LGBTQ group?
Oh, those are different.
Just all
As long as they have good
public speakers.
instructor.
This is a funny article. It's called "Making Dumb Groups Smarter" by Sustine and Hasty. These authors argue that groups often amplify biases unless deliberate decision structures encourage dissent and informative sharing. So, when I say these dumb groups, they're amplifying the biases unless you deliberately structure and encourage dissent and information sharing. So how do you structure team meetings, especially around underwriting or these producers and the pricing, the portfolio work, to make sure dissenting viewpoints are actively surfaced and considered? So how do you?
I don't understand.
Sorry. So you're in these diverse groups. How do you make sure that these minorities within these home offices get to actually flesh out their viewpoints that might agree with the status quo? So how can you get, say, an LGBTQ or an Asian or an African American to point out something that they are aware of
I'm willing to share.
and make them share it among, say, like a heavy white or a heavy Chinese audience?
Yeah.
How do you get that across?
I guess you have to build the team trust.
How?
I think that there's no playbook to teach how to build the trust, right? I think it's all by example, all by behavior, all by your daily interactions.
So you lead by example for trust?
Yeah, it's like all the
You stimulate a trusting environment. Okay.
Without trust, we cannot work together.
Do you find that the trust is built during these like team building exercises, or is it more of a day-to-day practice?
I think it's more day to day, but the team building exercise definitely help.
Okay, interesting. What processes have you implemented to prevent groupthink in high-stakes decisions where pressure to reach consensus is strong?
In fact, someone taught me, I was told, if I have a new idea I want to present, I go to each single executive to sell the ideas first, to get their buy-in first, before you do the group presentation.
So you meet with them
So
on
that
an
individually in advance, before you go into the room together.
And so when are these events happening? What is this
So
for?
suppose you have one new marketing program that you want to launch or to create or to develop, whether your idea will work or not, I think you want to meet with different constituents first
Interesting.
to sell. I want to get your buy-in. Would you agree, or how you see this program work? I like to make the changes before I go into a presentation
Interesting.
to a group. So you get each single one's feedback first,
Okay.
and then you get the census.
Um, this is a one of my course pack readings, but this section offers structured tools, devil's advocacy, premortems, decision mapping to improve decision quality. What systematic decision making tools do you use for evaluating major strategic choices, such as new product launches, or your North American with China partnership and other long-term investments? So, what tools have you found were useful?
I I think theories are all good, tools are all good. In reality, you don't do it that way. In reality, the CEO wants this project going, you make it going.
Okay.
That's how it works.
Amen.
I'm sorry.
Amen. No. This is There's always theory, but then there's always real life. So
Yeah.
that's
Is
a
it-
very brutally honest answer, and I appreciate it. How do you encourage teams to slow down and reflect before acting on new, either like new products, new regulations, new market info?
I don't think we slow down anything.
Well, then how
I-
do you foster reflection? Maybe not slowing down is a bad word.
I think it's just based on the past experience and based on the public news. It's just like those are don'ts, then we
Okay.
don't touch.
Okay. All right. Great answer. Brutally honest. Adam Grant, he wrote this paper, or this article, I should say, Work Life, the Science of Productive Conflict. Grant explains that productive conflict, open, respectful, and intellectual, drives innovation and better decisions. When teams disagree, or internally, there is internal disagreement within a team about either the risk or a marketing strategy or strategic priorities, how do you turn those disagreements into constructive, insight driven discussions?
I think you have to understand the individuals first. Why he or she against the ideas so much, and to understand it first before you say, "Oh, we have to follow the group decision."
Are you talking about like on the producer level, or
No, it's just a home office people's level,
Within the
such as
home office.
you working with the marketing. Some marketing folks that disagree with that approach,
Uh-huh.
then you will have to learn, understand why that is not the right choice, or that's not the right approach
On the individual level?
on the individual level.
But before you're saying
Not
there's
going to
thousands
the-
of them.
Not going to the group and talk about it. I mean, that's how you build an intimate relationship.
Among like thousands of these
Though-
producers
no,
and
no,
home offices?
home office and producers are different.
So where's the home
To-
office?
Home office is your peers, your actuary, your product designer,
see,
your
I see.
marketing. And the producers are more the sales team. They're
So
selling
you're
your,
talking about the 100 versus
Yeah.
the middle of the
yeah,
thing.
the home office is your day-to-day work together.
Okay. And then last question is, how do you model openness to being challenged so your teams feel safe debating your assumptions or decisions? How do you
I
foster
would-
the safety?
I would say you do it by example.
Lead by example?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. It's been a pleasure, Ms. Fong. This has been an enlightening interview, even though it did not go the direction where I thought it would. It's completely okay.
Really?
Well, yes. I mean, so you have,
You can
I
close
think,
this.
20 to 30 some years of experience. I'm not going to ask your age here, but
Is that
it makes it more. It shows that, at least to me personally, it shows that the theory sometimes is actually hard to put into practice. You talked about
In
it.
reality, I think yes.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense, especially when you are such a commission-driven industry. It makes it hard. It makes it very hard. Well, anyways,
And you pick that industry to discuss.
and I picked that industry, even though I'm in pharmaceuticals. This is
Just the same.
it's different.
It's a-
To be honest with you, I feel that pharmaceutical work is actually more kumbaya when it comes to the team. Very soft. No one wants to step on anyone's toes. This is you're more about leading by example and this brutal honesty. And if someone does step out of line, it's not a soft course correction. It's a you lose your license, and that's very interesting. I've known scientists that fudge data, and it's more of a don't do it again rather than a goodbye. So it's quite interesting.
Huh.
It's quite interesting. Yeah, I think we're much softer on the STEM side of things rather than the hard finance world.
Well, because it's different level for intelligence too. I mean, there's no scientist or PhD to sell life insurance, and you may have a lot of high school graduates or college graduates. They're nowhere to go, but they try to sell, or they find that out. Oh, it's pretty good commission, then they can make a living, and that's why they start selling life insurance. It's different background coming in though. I think yours is more highly educated than my sales group.
I think the problem is, even though you say we're highly educated with a high IQ, we have a very low EQ. Well, I think in the sales, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're more you
need
have
a
to
high
be
EQ.
you need that high EQ.
Yeah.
And you do talk about knowing people on the individual level.
Yeah.
Even though we're talking about hundreds and thousands of people, you personally know thousands of people?
Yes, a lot of agents on my cell phone.
How many? Give me a number.
I think I have 4,000.
4,000?
4,000 contacts in my cell phone.
Interesting. See, most scientists can go their whole life and they only have a couple hundred LinkedIn connections. You have 4,000 just on your phone alone.
Yeah.
See, so I think that really highlights the EQ of your industry. That you do have to form this personal rapport. So, you have some 4,000 people. It's interesting because in science, word gets around fast. The grapevine is almost like a forest fire, where if someone gets a new job, someone moves, gets fired, almost everyone in the community knows, just because it's such a small pond. But you're saying, among your thousands of people, it still gets around fast.
Same.
That's
people like to gossip.
People like to gossip.
Don't forget that. That's their
very
entertainment.
That's entertainment, you think?
Yeah. That's their entertainment.
So do you think that gossiping is actually helpful to make sure everyone does stay in line? Because if, say, Agent A loses his license because he was, doing something bad, do you think the other 4,000 will quickly find out? Do you tell them? Do other agents tell them?
I think just one person know, the others will know.
We'll find out.
Yeah, will the info will just go around.
So do you find that that's actually healthy to make sure that everyone is actually staying in line rather than I always saw gossip is bad. Coming from as a young person, out of high school, out of college, gossip is usually viewed as a very bad, malicious thing. But here it seems like you're almost using it as a tool for good to keep everyone compliant.
This is a very interesting new perspective to look at the gossiping. I did not see it as a good or bad. Maybe that's the word. Word itself sounds a little
has a negative connotation.
Yes, negative. However, I think human natures like to
people talk. How about that? People talk.
Yeah.
And so do you find that when these people talk, whether it's at the team building conventions,
Yeah.
these team building events, then these negative examples, these bad agents that did something bad and maybe lost their license or lost the ability to work with your company, is that when people find out? And like you just don't want to be like that. You don't
Yeah,
want
you
to.
don't want to be like that.
You
It's
don't
just be careful when you see this. Like you watch out, be more alert.
Thank
It's
you.
like the
Thank you.
policy, how the policy looks like
Okay.
when they do go through the underwriting.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. This has now been almost an hour, so
Yeah.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, sir.
It's been an honor. And good luck with everything.
Yeah.